My beautiful, powerful guest today is Madison Dalmaso. I'm super excited for you guys to meet her. She is an expert in social media, a top network marketer, a global consultant for Bob Proctor. Yes, the Bob Proctor from The Secret. And she's also a world-renowned public speaker and coaches people globally, helping them to create their ideal life. And she's really an expert in reprogramming the subconscious mind. She has a whole system with this. She actually runs a business alongside her father called the Matrix Success Network to help as many people as possible create a lifestyle that is aligned with their values, one shift at a time. So without further ado, I'm so excited. Let's get into it. I am so excited, you guys. I have a lovely lady on this podcast episode who is going to teach you some awesome stuff. So make sure you have your pens, your notepads out and ready. Her name is Madison, or Maddie, she likes to be called. And Maddie, I'm so excited to have you on the show today. And just so you guys know, before we hit this record button, we were kind of, as I do with my guests, kind of planning out the content and what we're going to dive into. And she came up with something that is going to be life-changing that I'm actually going to learn with you guys. So I'm really, really excited. Maddie, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for coming on.
Hey, Ashley, thank you so much. It's an honor to be on here with you. I'm excited to get into it.
Awesome. Me too. So before we do dive into the juicy goodness, I would love if you could share kind of your backstory. I did a little intro in the beginning of the episode. I would love kind of, even if it's maybe a challenge that you faced and grew through to get you to where you are today, just something you can share with our audience.
Yeah, absolutely. So my challenge, the first one that comes to mind is really graduating college. And I think a lot of people can relate to this. If you're in college, you definitely can relate. And if you're, already graduated, I'm sure you went through something like this. I graduated and I had no idea what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. I mean, it was like I fell face first into reality and I didn't want a corporate job. I didn't know what my purpose was. I didn't know what my direction would be. I didn't know what lit me up. I had spent so much time thinking that I was going to be a manager in corporate America and that the corporate ladder was the only ladder that would lead to success, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And so I was kind of programmed to believe that. And then graduating, I saw all these entrepreneurs and, this new life. And my dad was an entrepreneur and I really admired him. But I didn't really know what to do. Right? Like, how do you become an entrepreneur? Do you have to invest 6 figures to be successful? Like, does it take, $100,000 to start up a business? I didn't know. And so my biggest challenge was really finding out what my purpose was. And more importantly, giving myself permission to dream. Mm-hmm. Like giving myself permission to fantasize about, okay, what do I really, really want? Never mind what I think I can get. Never mind what people around me are getting or what I think is success. What do I really, really want? And that was my biggest challenge to date that I think that getting over was huge for me.
So how did you overcome that? And by the way, those of you listening / watching, if you've ever struggled with that, I mean, I know I can raise my hand and say I have, with that kind of, identity crisis or vision crisis where you're like, I don't know where I want to go or what I want to do. Let us know, screenshot, share this, tag us, and let us know, because I feel like that is a very common thing. So how did you overcome that? How did you create breakthrough?
So I'm sure some of the listeners or viewers have heard of Bob Proctor on social media or Instagram. He was in the movie The Secret. I had seen the movie The Secret. It entertained, it was like interesting to me, but I didn't really understand what that was. And so my dad ended up working with Bob Proctor closely, became his top consultant. And at first I wanted nothing to do with it. I was like, that's silly. That doesn't work. It's a bunch of witchcraft.
Focus. Yeah.
Yeah. Hocus pocus. I wanted nothing to do with it. And finally I was like, you know what? My way's not working. I just graduated college. I need something. I need to do something. So I started with their now our foundational course and I went through it. And one of the biggest questions that helped me overcome that challenge was, if you already were making the millions a year, what would you be doing? If the money was already flowing in, because most people, right, we're programmed, we work hard to earn money.
Yeah.
And so I had to rewrite that belief and say, if I was already earning all the money, what would I be doing? Right. And so a lot of people, you'll get answers that will come into your mind, and some of them will be scary. Some of them, one of the ideas that came into my mind and that I'll still pursue one day was acting. So I was like, how do I do that? What do you mean acting? Can I really be an actress? But yes, you can, right? The thought coming into your mind is your green light that you can do it. So asking that question really helped me.
Okay. Write that question down, guys. So if I was already making X amount of money, whatever your goal is, what would I be doing? I even want to add to that, like, how would I be feeling? It's really important to tie in our emotions and get clear on what that feels like. I actually talked about this in not the last episode, but the episode before with Julie Serrato. If you heard that one, it's a powerful addition you can add to that. So write that down, ask yourself that question, journal on it, meditate on it. That's powerful. So thank you for that.
It's really funny that you just said that, because I have this board right behind us that says, now that my dreams have manifested, how does it feel? Right? Yes.
There's a really good book, you guys, and it's super easy to read. Maybe you've read it, Maddie, called Feeling is the Secret.
So
yeah,
good.
It's good.
So
I forget who it's by.
Neville Goddard or Thomas Troward. I forget which one. Yeah.
So good. Well, look it up, guys. Seriously, you'll read it. It's a super thin book. Like it's right. It's really small. You could read it in probably one sitting. Super powerful though. And it goes over that, the feeling is a secret, and really using that to create your reality and manifest. So beautiful. Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, Maddie was talking about, I already forgot what it's called, but she has a tool, a process, if you will, on that she really believes will change your life. She uses this with her clients and in her business. And so, Maddie, I'm just going to let you take the mic and share what you got for the listeners today. I'm super excited myself to learn it.
Awesome. So this has seriously changed everything for me. If you listen to this podcast or you're watching this and you actually take what I'm about to give you and you do it, and you don't do it for 10 days, you don't do it for 20 or 30 or 60, you do it until the results show up for you. If you actually do that, I promise you it will happen. It will work. It's science. It's not opinion. It's not my method. It's just science, right? It's how our subconscious minds work. So you don't need to understand subconscious this and conscious mind and all of these beliefs. You don't need to know any of that terminology. If you just surrender to what I'm about to give you and you do it with, I don't want to say blind faith, but faith backed by understanding about what I'm about to share with you, then you will see drastic, significant changes in your life. So I'm really excited to get into it. So the first thing is we're going to be talking about self-image. Okay. So we're going to apply it to self-image, but I want to be clear. You can use this with anything in your life. Okay. I've created one and it has every single thing in my life: finances, self-image, confidence, my life partner, attracting your soulmate, my career, income, cars, houses, everything is in there. Okay. So we're going to apply it to self-image. The first thing you need to do is say, okay, what is my self-image? And this isn't like, what's my confidence level? This is, what is your self-image when it comes to your income, when it comes to who you're attracting into relationships, when it comes to, social life, when it comes to your career, all these different buckets of life. And you want to look at the results that you're getting. The results that you're getting always are a reflection of your belief system as to what's possible for you, right? So if you're earning 100K, that means you believe that you can earn 100K a year, right? Mm-hmm. You're not earning it because you want it. You're earning it because you don't know how to earn more than that, right? Because your belief system's locked in. So you observe the results for what they are. Let's use the gym as an example. Let's say you're, a little heavier than you'd like to be right now. And you observe the result and you say, okay, my weight fluctuates, it goes up and down, and it's just not cool. I want to change that. Okay. So we would flip that on its head. And we'd say something like, I'm so happy and grateful now that I easily and effortlessly maintain a steady weight of 120 pounds or 130, whatever that is for you. Okay, that's just one small example. So you're going to go through every single bucket of your life, right? Finances, health, maybe your aesthetic, your relationships, opportunities, maybe speaking gigs, whatever it is for you. It doesn't matter how many buckets you have. Okay. And you're going to go through and you're going to say, what's my results here, 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 and here as it is right now in my physical world. And then you're going to say, okay, that's great. Those are my results. They're not part of me. They're just my results. Okay. Detach from those.
That's a really important distinction. You guys, so very important distinction.
So important, because the results that Ashley gets, that I get, they're not us, right? They're just a reflection of our beliefs. And because we have them, you can have them. Because Oprah has something, that means Ashley and I can have that thing too. We can put that on our menu to have. Okay, so you identify what things are, detach from your results, and then you say, what do I want with my relationships, with my health, with my aesthetic, with my income, with opportunities that come to me, with my social life, everything. And I want you guys to write it down. You can do it in a Word document. You can do it on your notes in your phone. Do it on a piece of paper if you're a pen and paper gal like me. But you're going to write it all out. Dump your brain out onto paper. And this is very important. You need to write it out as it's already happened, as if it's already happened. Okay, so the words, I'm so happy and grateful now that, are great to start off with anything. Or I'm so happy now that, or it feels so good now that, or I wake up and right? You want to talk in the present tense as if it's happening right now. Because your subconscious mind, and again, you don't need to know this, but your subconscious mind doesn't know real from imagined. It can only accept what you give it.
Yep.
Right? If people tell themselves a lie often enough, they start to believe it. There's a reason for that, right? Repetition is the mother of all learning. So the more repetitive we are, and the more convincing we are to our subconscious mind that this is already our reality, even though we know it's not, right? The more it's going to be suppressed and accepted and then reflected into our physical world. Okay, so you're going to go through, write it down in the present positive, and you're going to, go through. It doesn't need to be fancy. Just start with 5 sentences in each bucket if you need to, or 1 sentence for each bucket at first. And then you can always expand and expand and expand.
I have a question on that.
Yeah.
So how specific do they need to get? How specific do we need to be in these statements?
So let's say you want to say an income statement. Okay. And let's say I talk to people all the time. They're like, I want to earn 6 figures. Most people, think that they want more money than they actually want, first of all. Like I talk to a lot of people that are like, oh, I want to be a millionaire. I'm like, do you really know how much money that is? What's your plan for that? What do you want for that? What does that mean to you? What would your life look like?
What you're doing right there, I just have to say, that's so important because you're connecting the why. A lot of people say things and you're exactly right. They don't understand why. Like, okay, you want to be a millionaire. Why? What does that mean to you? Very important question, you guys. I challenge, as you guys are writing out these things that you want, get clear on the why. Why do you want those things? What does that mean? What does having that X thing do for you? What does that mean to you? So continue. Keep going, girl. I love where you're going with this.
And to go back to what we said before, right? And what does that feel like? Right?
Yep.
What does that feel like? So we'll get into that in a second. But essentially, if we were doing income, we would say, I'm so happy and grateful now that I earn in excess of your goal, blank, each month. And it feels so good now that I get to blah, 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 and blah. Right? But you want it to be like a statement. You don't need a date. I mean, dates do create urgency, but it's not up to us to know how or when. That's the universe or God's job. Right? We just need to know what we want and to be very clear with what we want. And the date is the date, right? It's like the scale. It's a measuring tool. It creates urgency, sure, but it's not our job to know. It might happen tomorrow. It might happen in a year. It might happen in 5 years, right?
It's important that we release our agendas. I think that's really important because sometimes the universe gives us, God gives us exactly what we ask for, just in different packaging. Maybe not what we would, how exactly we would have expected it to come. it's not
never really how we expected.
Yeah, totally. And I want to actually say it's so perfect that we're talking about this because I just did this, you guys, and Maddie. I literally I was writing in my journal, and this was about a week and a half ago, I want to say. So very recent. I was writing in my journal. I see 30,000, or I'm so blessed to have 30,000 coming in. So I kept saying that 30,000. I don't know why I picked that number. I just was like 30,000, like I'm so blessed that it's coming in my bank account. It's on its way in, and I'm so grateful. So I literally would write that, and I wrote that for 3 days straight. On the 3rd day, so I did that 3 days straight, meditated on it, felt what it would feel like, wrote it in my journal for 3 days consistently. Okay. I kid you not. I kid you not, you guys. 30,000 came in 3 days later. You know what I just realized on this Zoom? 3 is my number. And I didn't even realize that, actually. So that just all came to me. 3 days, 30,000. That's kind of crazy. But anyways, so it actually came in. It came in, and I remember when it came in, I didn't even realize, right? Because you're like, you don't connect the dots maybe at first. And it wasn't until like 2 days later, I'm like, wait a minute, this is exactly what I was writing in my journal. Holy smokes, like exactly what I asked for. So there is so much power in this, you guys. I really am so happy that you're talking about this, Maddie. So I just had to throw that in there because that's real life, like that just happened. So continue, keep going.
I love that. And the more this happens, right? I remember when I first started studying, getting into this stuff, I was like, there's no way it could work for me. There's no way it could work for me. But then I got, I started with fitness and I worked on my physique, and then I got my car and I built my belief in this and in myself. And now we're working on, millions of dollars in revenue. It's like you just build and build and build and build and build. And then it's not a coincidence anymore. It's like, of course, this is how it works. Of course, this is happening with me and for me. Right.
Mm-hmm. And that's important. The consistent practice, consistently flexing, even when like through it all, consistently flexing, that is so important.
Gotta flex the muscle. Okay.
Yes.
So let's get back into it. Okay. So we have our buckets. We have what we want in each bucket. We have it all written down as if it is happening now, right? If you want to include, visual, how it feels. What are you seeing? Like I know in mine, it says, I wake up in my, there's a Porsche Tower in Miami.
No.
Oh, if you guys are listening, go on YouTube and look at the Porsche Towers in Miami. They're amazing. You take your car up to your condo and you drive into your condo.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. So that's in my life script. And so, right, include anything that you would see, smell, taste, touch, as real as you can make this thing. Make it as real as you can. And then here's the crazy part, which is where we're going to lose some people. You want to record it. Okay. There's a audio, an app called Audio Loop, and you're going to sit there and you're going to record this thing. It's you talking to yourself about where you're going. It is so powerful beyond belief. You don't need to know how it works. You just need to surrender. Right? Mm-hmm. That's it. And what you can do if you don't like the sound of your own voice, because I know I didn't either at first, I played Lion King music in the back.
I love you.
I played Lion King in the background and I recorded myself over Lion King, and it changed the whole vibe of this thing. So I would listen to it, close my eyes, I'd meditate on it. And, it was just, you want to talk in a monotone, calm voice, like a meditation almost. And you just record it, and then you're going to listen to it morning and night. I listen to mine 3 times a day.
Okay. Pause. So you are all the things that you just said for our listeners to write down in those buckets. You are reading all of those things, recording yourself reading all these things and playing it back. That's what we're doing. And that's called, is that what life scripting or life script? Mm-hmm. Got it. Okay. Awesome. I love this. Okay. Keep going. I just had to pause, and I just wanted to make sure that I was hearing that correctly. Yes.
So you write it all out as if it's happening now, right? Mm-hmm. And then you're going to record it, the whole entire thing, with music in the background if you want. You don't need the music. It's just a cute little touch that helps me. And then you're going to listen to it morning and night. And this is the part where, it might not happen in a week. You might not see change for 2 weeks, but if you give up, it won't happen, right? If not this, then what, Mm-hmm. I mean, if I'm on here talking like a crazy person, like it must be real. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be just saying this to say it. Okay. It does something with our subconscious mind. The way that our subconscious mind takes on new beliefs is through repetition, or something called a paradigm shift, which is something like if 2 partners smoke cigarettes together their whole life, and all of a sudden one passes away, the other one's going to be shocked and uncomfortable, and it's going to cause them to change, and they're probably going to stop smoking. A paradigm shift. Something dramatic. It's normally negative. 9/11 was a paradigm shift for a lot of people. It was like, oh my God, life is short. Let's get going. If someone passes away, normally that's a paradigm shift for a lot of people. Oh my God, life's short. Let's get going. Right? Mm-hmm. But we don't want that negative stuff to happen in order for us to change. Mm-hmm. And so the other way to shift our paradigms, or our belief system, in other words, is repetition. Again and again and again and again, of the right ideas though. And that's why it's so important to write down everything that you want as if it's already happening, and in very positive terms, because you're programming yourself with this new stuff.
So powerful. I'm literally doing this. I'm doing this tonight. It's happening. It's happening.
I want to hear how it goes.
Yeah. Who else is doing it? Okay. So let us know, screenshot, tag us, let us know who else is taking on this. This is so powerful. And I've heard that, I forget, there's a book that as you were talking, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's another book that came to me.
Cybernetics, maybe?
No. And it was very scientifically, the explanations were super scientific. And I'm an analyzer.
Biology of belief is really good too.
Oh, that sounds familiar. I don't think that's it though. But yeah, I'm an analyzer. I'm sure I have a lot of analyzer listeners because we are what we attract. And so it really was helpful for me to understand how it actually works and why it actually works, and having that kind of scientific explanation. And even the way that you just described it, I'm sure is helpful for many of our listeners. We were talking about how our subconscious mind works, and it's so true. I had a Forbes Riley on my podcast before, and she said, our beliefs, there's a reason why in the middle of the word belief is the word lie. Because none of it's true. We take them as true because we're feeding it consistently. We're feeding our subconscious minds with it. All beliefs are lies. So she says that. So it's like, what way are you going to choose to lie to yourself? Like what stories do you want to make up? Like, are your stories forwarding you or are they holding you back? So this is a really powerful way, you guys, to reprogram your mind through these through this subliminal messaging and this audio feedback is
you could call it auto-suggestion as well.
Okay.
There's a chapter in the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, chapter 4. It's called auto-suggestion. That's this to a T, but on steroids.
I've read that book. Forgetting that chapter, read that book. Maybe I get to read it again.
Go read that chapter, girl.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I love this. I am super excited for me to try it. I'm going to do this literally tonight. And what's funny is last night I was having trouble sleeping. I couldn't shut my brain off. And I actually really enjoy listening to guided meditations before I sleep. So I could totally see myself integrating this in part of my nightly routine, part of my morning routine. I meditate every single morning. So you guys listening, set yourself up for success here, because you get to be consistent. That repetition, as Maddie said, is crucial. So make sure that you habit stack. So what you're already doing in the morning and what you're already doing at night, add this new habit in there and do it consistently. I don't care if it's on your morning commute to work. Every morning you commute to work, now you get to listen to yourself during your commute, whether it's when you're brushing your teeth, something that you do. This is perfect, by the way, too, because my last episode was with, we were talking about habits and how to create habits to shape your future self. And this is exactly what we said. So now this is a perfect buildup, guys. So now you know how to create healthy habits. If you listened to the last episode, if you didn't, you get to go listen to it. So add this habit in and do it consistently minimum twice a day. I love it.
Love it.
Okay, sister. This is perfect. We're wrapping up right at the perfect time. And I do know that you have a gift that you wanted to share with the audience. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so we have a subscription. It's $19 a month, but we do a free 30 days for anyone who wants to just come in, dip their toes in. And then if it's not for you, it's not for you, no worries. So if you text MMA to 484848 and enter the code MMA30GIFT, you'll get 30 days free in that.
Okay. And what is MMA?
So Matrix Mindset Academy, basically it was created for our motto in there is no one left behind, right? This information that Ashley and I have been talking about, it's not taught in schools. There's no wonder why I graduated college and fell on my face, because I didn't understand this stuff. I didn't understand my mind. I didn't understand my body. I didn't understand anything about the world we live in, really. When it comes to this stuff. And so what we do is we teach, little increments, bite-sized information every single day on a repetitive basis, because that's how we learn in this information. And we study with Bob Proctor and the best of the best, Peggy McCall. Those of you who know her, she's an author, New York Times bestselling author. And so we give tidbits of what we're learning. And we have Monday night webinars, actually. We have a 60-minute webinar for people to come on. We mastermind, open live coaching for $20 a month. The value is just insane. But there's a need. Wow. There's a massive need for this. And so it's my little baby.
Oh, that's so awesome. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And you guys, I will put those links and the info in the description. So if you didn't catch that, that's okay. Just open the description. Everything is in there for you. And how can people connect with you? So I know I think you have 2 Instagram.
So you can do my personal, it's Madison Dalmaso, which I'm sure will be somewhere around here. People spell my last name all sorts of crazy ways.
And then we have, that's why I shortened it.
And then our business. So my dad and I have a business together. We coach and train together, and that's Matrix Success Network.
Matrix Success Network. That's so cool that you and your dad do this together. Can I just say, how is that? I just have to know.
Honestly, so it was never a plan. He was a mechanical engineer for the better half of his life, and then stumbled into Bob Proctor at a convention and started studying this stuff. And I watched his income go from under $1 million to over $8 million in 1 year. And wow. So from that moment on, I was like, wow, Dad, I need to do what you're doing. And so I started studying with him, and then everything just kind of snowballed, and we have an amazing relationship. I'm super grateful for him. We joke around, we say that we're like Barnes and Edison reincarnated, because we're like business partners and friends and wingmen, and it's all good.
I don't know about y'all, but I just got all warm and fuzzy inside. I love it. I'm such a daddy's girl myself. So I was like, oh, it's so funny. I just reached out to my dad because I'm like, okay, Dad, I'm ready to get in real estate. My dad's in real estate. He's been a real estate guy for as long as I can remember. And I'm like, okay, Dad, I'm ready. I want to work with you. Let's invest in a property together. So I'm excited for that. And you just got me even more excited. So awesome. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right, Maddie. Thank you so much for this. This was like what I love about this episode is are you an analyzer personality type 2, by the way?
Oh, totally.
Okay. Perfect. That's why this episode, right, guys? Like this was like laser. It was like effective. And I did
out.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Value-packed strategy that you can implement right away. Okay. I'm super excited for you guys to implement this. And I really, really hope that we hear from you on how it's going once you implement it consistently, because I know you will. And I'm just so grateful. This was an awesome episode. Seriously, one of my favorites. So thank you, Maddie, for coming on. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Ash.